Becoming the Burg, Stories that Shaped the Sunshine City, a project from I Love the Burg and the St. Pete Downtown Partnership.
Hey everyone, this is Andrew with ilovetheburg.com. I'm standing outside the Poynter Institute here in downtown St. Petersburg. St. Pete is known as the Sunshine City. It's a hub for artists, glass blowers, muralists, and creatives of all types. It's also become an entrepreneurial bastion here in the South. But many don't realize that it's also in the midst of a literary renaissance, one that's been occurring for decades.
Our story begins with Jack Kerouac, the father of the Beat generation called St. Pete home from 1966 to 1969. The author achieved worldwide fame for his books On the Road and The Dharma Bums. Kerouac composed his most famous novel, On the Road, in 3 weeks on an unbroken roll of teletype paper, which he fed into his typewriter in a friend's apartment in New York City. While in St. Pete, Jack Kerouac lived with his mother Gabrielle and his wife Stella in a small block house at 5169 10th Avenue North. Kerouac frequently visited Haslam's bookstore and would display his own books at the front. The writer would spend hours at the Flamingo Bar, drinking his infamous shot in a wash. In 2020, Kerouac's family sold the home. The new owners plan to preserve the Kerouac House and are actively seeking ways to engage the local literary community. Independent bookstores nurture a love for the written word. Haslam's bookstore in St. Petersburg was founded in 1933 during the economic depression by John and Mary Haslam. Their mission was to provide residents and curious readers with books and magazines at bargain prices. The business continued to expand after World War II with the arrival of the second generation of Haslams, Charles and Elizabeth. At one point, the store boasted over 300,000 books in their 30,000 square foot bookstore.
Whatever the future holds for Haslam's, it holds a very special and dear place in the heart of St. Petersburg. Multiple generations of families have shopped here. Many local authors have passed through here. The likes of Randy Wayne White and Craig Pittman have signed books in this shop. It's a labyrinth of discovery, and I hope to see it open its doors again one day. Now we're outside of Wilson's Book World, which has been family owned and operated since 1971.
Owner Jeff Morris announced his retirement in 2017. Morris's daughter Michelle took over and debuted Wilson's Book World at 535 16th Street North. The sprawl of new and used books is perfectly complemented by the presence of the one and only Freddy Krueger.
One of the most impressive things about St. Petersburg's current literary renaissance is the independent bookstore boom here in downtown St. Petersburg. Right now I'm standing outside Book and Bottle, which opened up in the midst of a global pandemic. This independent bookstore features some of the newest titles that are hitting the NPR charts, New York Times bestsellers, things that are being written about by the Washington Post, and also offering an avenue for local authors to get exposure here in the Sunshine City, and in doing so, national exposure from all the tourists who are visiting St. Petersburg today. I'm now inside Tombow Books here in the Grand Central District of St. Petersburg. It's the newest independent, locally owned bookstore here in the Sunshine City. On the walls here, you'll find your favorite bestsellers, some instant classics, and a robust children's section. But in addition to that, this store also features a phenomenal amount of Florida fiction and nonfiction by authors that have called St. Petersburg home. Even recent authors like Rob Sanders and Mary Kay Andrews have featured this city and local businesses in their books and have also made national headlines for their work. It is because of independent bookstores like this that authors want to call St. Petersburg home, want to visit here during their residencies, and of course, want to celebrate it in their own personal works.
Since 2004, Eckerd College has hosted the Writers in Paradise program, co-founded by best-selling author Dennis Lehane and prolific Florida writer Sterling Watson. Best-selling authors, agents, publishers, and others from across the world gather here in St. Petersburg to teach workshops, hold panel discussions, and help groom the next generation of writers. Cultured Books, owned and operated by L'Oreal Holloway, represents the inclusive future of St. Pete. The pop-up bookshop in South St. Pete features a diverse selection of reads for kids, and the inclusive environment instills a love of reading based on empathy and personal expression. In April, Holloway and Tamia Iman Kennedy began filming a Reading Rainbow-inspired series called Read About It, right here in the Burg.